Well, good morning, everybody. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Good morning, everybody. I do not know what's going on this morning, but this is the day that the Lord hath made. We shall rejoice, we shall sing, and we shall be glad in it. Oh, my gosh. I don't know what happened, but I'm here. I'm Dr. Julia Royston at BK Royston Publishing, Royal Media and Publishing, and the Book Business Boss Consulting, helping you get your message to the masses, turn your words into wealth, and be a book business boss. So today, choose you this day. And believe you me, I would not have chosen for one of my streams to not be connected. That's all right. I'll move on. I'll move on. That's the beauty of live streaming. That's the beauty of having a whole thing shut down on you, but you keep going. You keep moving. This is a prime example of what happens when something doesn't work. You don't stop. You don't quit. You keep going. So today's inspiration motivation, I'm the message motivator. Choose you this day is taken from Joshua 24 and 15. As we know, Joshua took over after Moses. He was the leader, and the children of Israel had to make some decisions. They had to decide some things. They had to make some choices. And he said, who's on the Lord's side? Are you going with God or you're not? That's one of those uh definite, that's one of those decisions that we all have to make. Life and death is in God's hands, but choosing to live and walk and serve him is our choice. We're still free moral agents. So Joshua said, okay, if you're on the Lord's side, get over here. If you're not, stay over there. You got to choose. You got to select. The scripture goes, of course, on to tell us that we can't serve God and mammon. We can't serve, walk on both sides. So we have to make some choices. I have to make some choices at 60 years old, as a woman, as a black woman, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a wife, as an auntie, as a daughter. There's some choices I have to make. But number one, my permanent choice is God, for him to lead and guide me. Because as Deacon Walker at my home church used to say, I don't know what I'd do without the Lord. So that's my permanent choice. No matter what comes and goes, no matter how hard it is, no matter how difficult it is, not working with God, but life. No matter how hard life gets, that's my permanent choice. So choose you this day who you're going to serve. So number one is your permanent choice, where you're going to spend eternity. That's up to you. I know what side I'm on, but everybody has to choose their own side. And then there's sometimes where it's the uh, pleasurable choices. You have the freedom to choose entertainment, fun activities, um, retirement. You have the option to be able to choose to stay home and stay in the bed, or and not. These are people that have made decisions early on how they're going to live their life, and so now they're living their best life. Shameless plug, coming up at 10 a.m. on Eastern Standard Time on envision-radio.com. But it's the pleasurable choices, those choices that you don't necessarily have to be pressured to make. You freely choose to love. You freely choose to give. You freely choose to support your friends and family. You wholeheartedly are able to, because even God says, I really like a chill forgiver. Now, if you're going to give grudgingly, you're not going to see the same harvest and the same favor and the same, as the kids say today, energy. You matching energy for energy. But God's like, I like cheerful. I like happy. So those are pleasurable choices. And being able to make those pleasurable choices is always pleasurable. But you still have to, it's always enjoyable and, it's wonderful. But you still have to make that choice. You choose to love. You choose to give. You choose to be charitable. You choose to be compassionate. You choose. It's a choice. It's a choice. You could be stingy. You could withhold love. You could withhold a gift that you have freely been given. You could, a man's gift make rooms with him and room for him, and he bring it before great men. But if you don't use your gift, you don't exercise it, you don't develop it, great men are not going to see it. That's just it, bottom line. So number one is the permanent choice. Whose side you on? That's eternal life, eternal with God in the heavens. And there's the pleasurable choice. That's stuff that we really enjoy. It comes from the heart. We're passionate about, and we would do even if nobody paid us. And then after we do it so long and somebody sees it who does have the money to pay us, we can charge and they can pay us. Yay! And then there's the painful choices. There are some things that everybody has what that painful choice is. Those are the choices to walk away from people that we love and we care about. And it can be extremely painful. It's those painful choices of walking through a grieving season, that season that is painful. But we have to make those choices to keep living and to keep moving in spite of. Head in a different direction. Sometimes the painful choices, we have to part ways with people that we're just not headed in the same direction. How can two walk together, say they agree, and we can't agree? And we can't seem to recover it. We can't restore it. And we have to walk away. Those are the painful choices. I think, people are making painful choices, not just to love and support, but the direction of your life. I see people, especially on TikTok all the time, where God tells them to pack up everything and move. And some people that could be pleasurable, but other people that could be very painful. You leave friends behind. You leave familiar streets. You leave memories behind. They're still in your mind, but you can't revisit those places again because it's time to move on. So those are just the painful choices. Those go back to your permanent choice to follow God, because he has the plan too. That's not one of my, as they say, it's not one of my points today, but he also has the plan and he also has the path. So that's a painful choice, because sometimes that painful choice is, when I lived in Cincinnati, I thought I had the dream job. It still was one of my favorite jobs. I loved working for that Fortune probably 20 company. It's not really Fortune 500. It's probably in the top 50 in the world. And I enjoyed working for that company. I really enjoyed it. And that was a painful choice. I cried all the way down 71 South, headed home. And 75 South from Cincinnati to cross the bridge to hit 71 South to go home to Louisville. I didn't want to do that. Nothing in me. And still, I remember that. I remember getting boxes and containers and crying all the way, because that was a painful choice. I enjoyed where I was. I wasn't in sin. I just liked the job. I liked the money. I liked the position I had. But that was a painful choice to follow God. Now, after I did it, he didn't tell me all the details. I didn't know why I was moving. He just said, go home. That's the only 2 words I got. Go home. I'm like, I'm going home. I'm 5 minutes from my job. I'm good. If you've heard this story before, it was a painful choice. But it was one that, and I made some other painful choices in my life too as well. But it might have been painful emotionally, but it was beneficial later on. So, but after I got home and did what he said, I was like, okay, I'm home now. Can I go back? He was like, no, look, girl, you're not going back. And then probably 6 months later, I found out the reason why I left 6 months before. It was a painful choice, but it was a great one. It was the right choice, because that painful choice next was a position choice. Even though it looked like a downward spiral, you know how you're looking at something, you're like, how can I go from that Fortune 50 company to teaching high school girls and being a high school librarian? I mean, I was, sheesh, corporate America put my code in to open to my door. I mean, nobody could get in my office because it had a code on it. I put the code. I mean, girl, I swiped my to get me in the building. Oh man, in '95, I had died and gone to heaven, but I wasn't in the right position because I was in the wrong city. I was at the wrong job. I wasn't in position for the plan and the path that he had for me, and I had no idea where it would lead. I had no idea. I was trusting God. It was like walking in the dark, and they're trying to take you into the surprise party, and you got your eyes covered, and they've got your hand, and they're leading you. Take 2 steps, no, stop. And that's exactly the way I was. So, the first year I was really grieved, but then the second year I'm like, well, I'm home. Okay. And then one thing kind of led into the other, and it was ministry opportunities, was new opportunities. I'm flexible. When I figure out, he doesn't tell me to move and go nowhere else, so I must be in the right place. It's like the GPS. When they stop talking, you just keep going straight. You just follow that blue line straight. And so sometimes it gets you in position, and then all kinds of events unfolded, and people revealed themselves, and situations and places revealed themselves, and then you're in another position, and then you realize all of that painful choices was to get me to purpose. But the painful choice to leave what I liked, what I enjoyed, it might have been pleasurable, but that painful choice of moving and leaving and all of that, and coming back home, and you have to live with your mama a month till you find, which was wonderful. They were like, come on back home. They didn't have no problem with my parents. Never had. I mean, many times I moved back in and moved out. They never had a problem with that, because they had their administrative person in the house. But it was a painful choice, because I'm like, I've been on my own, doing my own thing, man. Coming in when I want to, going to bed, eating what I want. What? But that was to get me in a position. And believe you me, I didn't stay with my parents that long. I had my own place. And then I realized, okay, that was to set me up to purpose. But there was a lot of things that had to happen. There was a lot of me that had to change. Getting you in that position for purpose is that you have to get you out of the familiar, get you out of the comfortable. The demands of that corporate job would have taken me off my game for what God wanted me to be, what God wanted me to have. It got me in a position of Catholic school to see what ministry was, to see what else was out there and available, and to learn and grow. No, it didn't take me off my permanent choice. I knew how I was raised. I knew what I believed, but it exposed me to so much else. I learned so much. Some of the predisposed ideas and thoughts that I had about certain people and certain places, he had to squash that. He said, I can't take you to the nations. I can't take you around the world. I can't take you to different places if you have such a narrow focus. You have such a narrow view of life. It's so small. It just can fit right here. But and the prophecy came that I was going to the nations. Now, I thought I was going to be on planes, trains, and automobiles to do it. But what ended up happening is Envision Radio is in 32 countries. So that's the voice going to the nations. Even though I'm not physically going there, my voice and the message and the ministry and the ideas are going to the nations. Just like every time I see that list, I'm like, I'm going where? They hear me where? But God, he has a way of doing that, even though I have been out of the country and I do have a passport. Internet radio can take you there much faster and much easier. So are you in position for your purpose? And there's some choices that you have to make. And some of you, there may be some choices that you have to make that you're holding it up, that you're delaying it because you're out of position. You won't make those painful choices. You won't make, and I recently had to make one that was just, I still didn't understand it. I still really fully don't clearly understand it, but I had to say yes to God. Now, maybe I'll figure that out and he'll tell me later. Maybe he may never tell me. But as soon as I said no, all kinds of things, it was like a door. Boom. You know how you're walking into Target or any of the other Walmart or any other stores and you put your foot on that certain space and then the door opens. If you don't get in that certain spot, if you don't get in that certain position, the door is not going to open. Out in the parking lot in my car, the door is opening for somebody else, but it's not opening for me because I'm not in that position yet. That's a word for somebody. Until you make that painful choice and get in that position, the door is not going to open. And that's what happened for me. I had to say no, having no clue what happens on the other end. That's that walk by faith and not by sight thing I talk about often. Because you just never know. So once I said no, I realized I could have done it. But now I look at it physically, mentally, emotionally. I can do it. I mean, I could, but I couldn't. But when God said, you could do it, but I'm not going with you. Well, I knew I couldn't go there. Because I make choices all the time. Yeah, we're going to be at this event, la, 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 la. And he don't say nothing. But when that particular opportunity came and he said, you can go physically, but I'm not going. Well, who wants that? Who wants that? Not if you really following him, because you want him to kiss it. You want him to bless it. You don't want to be a sounding brass and a tinkling cymbal, just stand up there making noise and you have no effect. You have no impact. God is not with you. He's not. What? Who wants that? Nobody. I don't. That's just me. I want his anointing to be on it. I want him to flow through me. I'm used to that. I'm used to transferring. I've had a few instances where I sat down and I'm like, what? I have in my 40-some years of singing or whatever. Whoa, they were like, oh, yeah. No, I've had some times where, and he said, oh, it had nothing to do with you. It had everything to do with them. They weren't ready. They didn't receive it. And then he would have to reassure me, you please me. And then we move along and we let the chips fall where they may and what it happens. I hope that helps you choose to stay. It's your choice. You're still a free moral agent to choose. I hope you choose the permanent choice, God's way. It's always the best way. And it will help you live your best life. Come on and live your best life. Coming up at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right on envision-radio.com. Download the free Envision Radio and Magazine app or any of these other apps. And then coming up at 11 a.m. is the Spike Davis and Friends show. Tune in for Last Music and More. And then Tuesdays, the Book Business Boss show at 10:30 a.m. If you are on envision-radio.com and the Book Business Boss podcast.com is where the replays are. If you're interested in publishing, go to get on my calendar at talkwithroyston.com. That's the best way to have my undivided attention, as if you're on my calendar. That's the best way. And I'm at either my computer or on my phone, and I'm ready for your conversation, and I'm stopped, and I'm ready for you. So even though I may have instances where I do able to answer the phone, sometimes I'm not. So the best way is to go to talkwithroyston.com. 100 ways to be a book business boss. YouTube at Book Business Boss. That's the handle for the 100 ways to be a book business boss. I hope that blesses you. That's my first quarter of 2024 give to you. And also go to JuliaAKRoyston.com for my online store for all my upcoming all of my books, as well as I'm putting courses out there too. And I'll be talking about that a little bit later. Coming up in April 2nd, the Children's Book Boot Camp. So plan on that. There are some writing sessions one-on-one. I'm available for that too as well. So visit roystonclasses.com. That's roystonclasses.com for more information and the link to register. This week is a busy week. The next 2 weeks, I'm basically, I have events and I'm traveling. I'm on the road the next really 3 weeks. Well, 4. The 80th Annual Pastors and Leaders Conference is hosted by the General Association of Baptists in Kentucky. February 19th to the 21st, I'll be at the Marriott East in Louisville, Kentucky, right off of Hirschhorn Lane. 2 authors will be with me. Ms. Peggy Dixon will be there, as well as Dr. Julie Fulton will be there too as well. And then I hit the road on Friday, February 23rd, because I'll be at the Blacklist Book Fair and Conference, February 24th and 25th in Atlanta. For more information about that and to register and get your ticket, go to nbaf.org. And then I'm still in Atlanta, but I'll be live virtually for the Meadowview Family Resource Center community partner and event read-in, which is virtual. So it is 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'll be reading February 26th, 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Thank you, Miss Shannon Griffin, for the invitation. And I'll be on live, and I'll be sharing it on Facebook as well. Oh, by the way, the Blacklist Book Fair and Conference, February 24th and 25th in Atlanta. Dr. Vernette C. Nettles will be with me too as well. There, I have a publisher vendor table, so I'll be there. Come stop by. For more information, nbaf.org. And then, honey, they got me back into school, child. So I am pleased and always thrilled to do book fairs. I don't do as many as I would like in schools, but Dr. Brandy Turner is a librarian at Riverdale Elementary. And this is the 5th annual one. I have been going in, move over the other book fair, but February, Black History Month, I have been, and I'll do more of it in the future. But Dr. Brandy Turner and Riverdale Elementary, shout out to them in the Atlanta area, Riverdale area in Atlanta. So they have the 5th annual book fair. So I got to stop by. They've been doing it for 5 years, and I'm in the area. Oh yeah, I'm rolling through. So the book fair starts February 20th through 29th at Riverdale Elementary. And then I'm coming for an author talk on February 27th, and to visit the book fair, talk to the kids. Oh my gosh, it's going to be, me and Brian are just going to have a field day. I can only do elementary like 1 or 2 days, 1 or 2 days since retirement, but I'm super excited about that. And thank you so much, Dr. Brandy Turner, for having the BK Royston Publishing book fair in your school, and the 5th annual one. I ship everything to them, and they take care of everything. It's a beautiful thing, and the kids love it. Short story, I had a parent call me one time. I think this was the first or second year, and somehow he got my phone number, and he said, "Ma'am, my daughter is crying because she wants me to give her a certain amount of money for the book fair, and I don't really know y'all, because they're used to the other one that starts with an S. Y'all know who it is." And I told him who I was, and that the book fair with Dr. Brandy Turner, and all about who I was and everything. He said, "No, she'll have the money in the morning. Thank you. Good night." He hung up my phone. So, being new, you do have to explain yourself and who you are. And the principal always says, Dr. Royston is Black history. She's a woman, she's Black, and she is a publisher. And that's like a unicorn. That's clearly Black history. So I always love going to Riverdale. And it's a beautiful facility, gorgeous library. I've taken pictures of it before, but I'm definitely going to take pictures now, because I'll be there actually in the book fair. Most of the time I miss it, or I have to come pick up whatever is left. And but this time I'm gonna be in the thick of it, in the heart of it. So I'm super excited about that. Of course, you can always get any of the children's books that I have there at RoystonChildrenBookstore.com. So, and then March 29th, if you're in the Montgomery, Alabama area, by the way, even before that, I'll be in Selma at the Jubilee. I'll talk more about that. But the Montgomery Book Festival and Writing Expo, there's going to be 2 workshops there. I'm going to be teaching on writing and not just writing the book to build the brand, but also writing, period. Writing that book and really talking about fiction, nonfiction, all areas of writing. There will be a second workshop. I'm not teaching it, but someone else is, that is really talking about the business of books. And so there's going to be 2 workshops there on March 9th, beginning at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So for more information, go to VernetteCnettles.com. She's the leader, the champion. That's how I got in and a part of it at Montgomery Book Festival in Montgomery, Alabama. Yeah, so I'm going back and forth from Atlanta to Montgomery, back to Atlanta, back to the, oh yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So I'll have more next week to talk about. Woo! Choose you this day. You all be blessed. I'm Dr. Julia Royston. Head on over to envision-radio.com for Live Your Best Life. My guest today is Miss Adria Johnson, who is the president and CEO of the Metro United Way of Louisville, Kentucky. So I'm super excited about that. I'm Dr. Julia Royston, helping you get your message to the masses, turn your words into wealth, and be a book business boss. Be blessed. Bye-bye. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Overseer. Good morning. Miss Sarah, how you doing, love? Good to hear from you. I trust that you're doing all right. Be blessed in all that you all do. Have a great day. Bye-bye.